Okay. Evening, everybody. It's about 9 o'clock. It's a Tuesday night. Oh, and we've lost our special guest.
Good night, everybody.
Hey, we're out of here. It's your waitress. You know what? We'll give our special guest a chance to come back in while we play our kick-ass theme song. Welcome to the What's on Joe Mind special edition. All right, now that the theme music is over, I can bring them back. Hey, live, sort of, from very shaky hotel Wi-Fi. It is the authors of the After Action Report, both Volume 1 and Volume 2. That is Josh Eggebein on your left and Roger Taft on your right, even though the title thing on their box says they should be sitting the other way around. But that's okay. That's not confusing to anyone.
You're on mute.
You've muted your mic, guys. We can't hear you. This is what happens when we let Roger touch buttons. All right, technical difficulties. You gotta love them.
Hotel Wi-Fi. You gotta love that.
Right. So, anyways, we are here tonight, spending about an hour with you as Roger and Josh's Kickstarter is coming to an end. After Action Report Volume 2 is just about ready to get in the oven. It is more than funded. It is over 250% funded, I think. If they've switched spots, I'm going to laugh.
Let's see here with
All right, so
okay,
gents, this is confusing, so I'm going to go ahead and take that guy.
There we
are. Hey.
Here we go. We're on
stream.
Don't touch any buttons.
I didn't touch it. It went off on its own.
But as I was telling the folks at home, your Kickstarter is set to conclude in the wee hours of this morning.
Yes.
I decided to spend some time with you tonight to talk about what you got going on in that campaign, how successful it has been, et cetera, et cetera.
Thank you for having us on.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it a lot.
No worries. But we've picked up a lot of folks since the last time Roger was on, which was several months back.
Yes.
So what was the driving force behind doing this book? Oh my God, they're out again. Should have known. As soon as something productive happened. The hotel's having none of it.
Nope.
None of it.
It's a hotel in Florida. It's afraid we're going to mention something that's, anti-American.
Right? We have to declare in advance.
Yeah. It has to be approved by a learned council of elders, which means they got to go out of state in Florida. Ba-dum-bum.
Yeah, that's what we're all thinking.
Yep.
So if you're watching us on Facebook, by all means, give us some kind of a weird huggy guy, because we may need it by the end of the night tonight.
You're going to come back.
All right.
Hey.
I'm going to not share until we need to share. So
yeah.
Maybe that will help. So.
All right.
Okay. All right.
So where
good
were
times. So anyways, first question.
Yes. And answer quickly.
Right. 10 words or less. No. So again, since we've added a bunch of new folks since the last time Roger was on the show. Folks that don't know anything about either book, They don't know anything about Roger's brush with death in the last month. They don't know anything about anything. What was it that put in your guys' heads to do this book? Why did you decide we needed this product?
Well, I'll try to say this as quickly as possible. Around 2000, like 1999, somewhere in there, I wanted to write a book about G.I. Joe, period, just everything. But they kept making G.I. Joe.
Right.
I thought it was kind of the end, and it was like, hey, we can do a book of everything, and they just kept producing it, and I was like, I can't do it until I have everything. And other people started making books, and it got to a point where, okay, half of it's out there, so what do I write a book about now? Then eventually I
Oh, whoa!
I'm gonna guess he said he's gonna settle on the comics.
Yeah. Oh Lord, it's gonna be that kind of night, everybody. So,
All right, should we get into echo effects?
Right. Get comfortable. We're gonna be fighting this one all night.
All right. Well, there we go.
okay.
All right, we're back.
I settled on comics because nobody had touched that, and then they kept producing comics for another 20 years. So eventually, it just got to a point where we had to start somewhere, either ignore it or start somewhere. So we jumped in with just the Marvel books and continued from there. So Volume 1's Marvel, Volume 2 is Devil's Due.
Technically, how it worked was he called me, Facebook me, messaged, we can't remember, and basically said to me, hey, Josh, this was in COVID shutdown 2020. You want to do a project that'll take about a year? I'm like, what is it? He goes, let's write a book about comics. I'm like, okay, let's do it.
That's more than an okay.
And it took the first volume took a year, and now then we waited another year, and we did the Kickstarter for Volume 2, which is 100% successful, and we're pretty close to finishing Volume 2 already.
Yep.
Excellent.
That's the last 2 years. He had 20 years to think about it before he brought me in.
It's one of those things, Josh. He's a liar because the handsome ones always are.
Fair enough.
Grab 788 showed off his After Action Report Volume 1 on a show which just concluded. So, and Andy apparently hung out with Josh at Joe Fest. Thank you, and we're sorry.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh no, there you go.
Oh,
The state of Florida hates when we badmouth Hooded Cobra Commander 788.
apparently.
Oh, you can tell we have viewers in the Midwest. Oop. That's how you know they're in the Midwest. Oop.
Yep.
Yeah, an interesting
This is the ladies'
show
group.
for you guys. So we'll find.
We're still backstage.
Oh, this will be an interesting show for you guys. It'll be like a roller coaster. We're going up,
Right.
we're going down.
Yep.
I don't know why. It's just working. We'll be humorous.
All right. So
But,
Rod,
yeah.
keep your hands where everybody can see them, so we know you're not hitting buttons. Okay. All right.
Here we go. Perfect.
So we are your campaign, it ends at some point this morning.
Yep.
And judging from the website itself, the Kickstarter website itself, I will get the total right now as it stands: $20,368 pledged to a $7,000 goal. So congratulations, gentlemen.
Almost
Thank
3 times
you.
over.
Thank you. Yes, thank you very much to the community. We were funded in 48 hours, so it's been like a nice, okay, let's add the stretch goals and whatever we can for that. And so we've hit the 20,000 mark was our final stretch goal, which is a bookmark that will have like a 40th anniversary. Roger, you're touching the computer again.
Because he wants to.
So that it was the final stretch goal. We reached 5 stretch goals for Volume 2. In Volume 1 we had like 4. They were a little different, but it took 3 weeks on Volume 1 to get to the funding. So we had stretch goals planned out, but this Volume 2 funded so fast that we were already past our original stretch goal plan, and we're like, holy cow, we're at 10,000 like in the first couple days. and then it's taken another 30 days. And so we basically are coming to the end here. So now it's just Roger and I's job to get an actual finished book. His book is actually about 85% done. I'm talking about volume 2. Of course, volume 1 is already done. And you can buy that on our website, afteractionreport.net. Or if you've chosen the pledge, you can do volume 1 and volume 2 through Kickstarter. That's pretty much the only way to get our books, Kickstarter and our website. Or come visit us at a show like Joe Fest. We had a booth there. We were at MegaCon. We've been at other shows, Toylanta, stuff like that. So
Excellent. You made the round.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, we have definitely made the round.
Yeah. It was interesting because we went to MegaCon, and that was the beginning of May, and Roger was healthy at the time.
Yep.
And we were stuck between an anime artist and a person who sold dice, and all the anime.
Every time when the story gets good.
Right.
Well, there we are.
All right. So you're behind an anime seller.
Yes. So all the anime people were super busy, and we're sitting there like, okay, these two guys with gray hair, twiddling our thumbs. Some guy would walk by and be like, "Hey, are you a G.I. Joe fan?" And they're like, "Yeah." And they'd come over and then we talk to them, and they generally buy a book. But MegaCon's like 100,000 people. I don't know, crazy amount. 4 days. So we sat there for like 4 days.
So we sold books to the 10 guys that were wearing G.I. Joe shirts.
Exactly. So we sold I think we sold like 16 books in 4 days, and at Joe Fest for basically the 2.5 days sold 26 books. That's in person.
And that was because a lot of people already had the book. So there was nothing for them to buy. They just came and talked. And
just more Joe Fest people. And, some people were like, "Oh, you have volume 2." So they would back it. And then I know it happened twice where somebody bought a book in person and then backed it volume 2. So thank you all to the community. And we have, at the end, we have a list, right, where we do shout outs. So we have a list of shout outs that we need to do.
Oh, we'll get to them. We'll get to them. Provided we can keep the connection that long.
Right.
Provided.
I keep, Roger will just stay back there. There you go.
We're FedExing you guys a soup can and some string.
Yeah.
So you talked about stretch goals.
Yes.
And so what are the stretch goals? What will everybody be receiving with their pledge, or what's available for folks to get through the campaign thanks to the stretch goals being achieved?
So the very first stretch goal was the back cover, which was art by Tim Seeley and colors by Adam Riches, and it was of Lady J. We have it to show, but we're gonna wait a little bit. It's Lady J with Flint and Hawk standing by her tombstone, because of course Lady J dies in the Devil's Due. Oh, wait a minute! Spoiler. 20-year-old spoiler alert. So anyway, so that was the first stretch goal, to get those two artists to pay to pay them to do the work for us. The next stretch goal was some dog tags that we've been giving out that are really fun. People like them. We had a fun game going on at Joe Fest where they were hidden around. You come to the table and get free stuff. And then after that one was our field guide, which is basically in the back of our book. We put this checklist. So because it's a guidebook for collecting comics. So you have the book, you go through, you look at all the pictures, and then in the back is just a checklist. And then we print that out and give it to you separately. So like you can just take that to the conventions, and when you're hunting through long boxes, you don't need the full book. Because there are people who want our book near mint. I'm like, wait a minute, it's a collecting guidebook. Okay.
Which is collectible.
Exactly, it's collectible itself. So that's the third one. Then the fourth one and the fifth one were prints, 8x11 prints. One is of the cover of Josh Blaylock. So Josh Blaylock did our cover, and the Devil's Due crew colored it and inked it and all that stuff. So it's the first cover that has been done by Devil's Due since 2008.
For G.I. Joe.
For G.I. Joe. Yes. Of course, Blaylock continues to publish his own other non-licensed books that are creator owned. Anyway, so It'll be a black and white print of his sketch, and then a color one of the full cover, like a virgin cover. And then the final one, I think I talked about a little bit. That is going to be a 40th anniversary bookmark. We have a book, so you need a bookmark, right?
Absolutely.
And it'll be a bookmark. So that was the 20,000 stretch goal, and that was all we had. And again, we had to reconfigure because our original stretch goals were too low. We blew past at least two of our first planned ones on the first weekend. It's like, okay, now what do we do? So that's what we came up with.
Yeah. I think we need to try to share the pictures, see if we can get them back up, and hopefully
our live crowd is sacrificing to the hotel Wi-Fi gods.
Yes.
So we will see.
We're not frozen, are we? Just not sharing.
Yeah. No. It's just every time you try to share, your Wi-Fi cuts out. So we will give you the drum roll.
Okay.
All right.
Give it a try.
So all right, everybody, sacrifice those buckets of the Colonel.
Here. Yeah, okay.
There we go. Do we have it now?
Is that working?
Oh my God!
Oh, we don't have the thing, but we do have a honcho.
We have the honcho.
Mark, every time the images come up, it kicks me off my Wi-Fi.
It's been a really exciting ride. I mean, this, like I said, we started the Kickstarter at the beginning when we went to MegaCon, and then
I got sick.
Then he got sick. And if you want to tell that story, it's been a hell of an adventure, right?
Yeah, I came home sick Monday and went to the hospital. That was pretty much it. I looked like crap.
Well, it's a lot more than that. But
got diagnosed with diabetic ketoacidosis and was vomiting dead blood, basically. And then I got shingles. And this whole section of my face, which is backwards on your screen, was all scabbed up. And my eye's been swollen up ever since. So
cool.
That's it.
That's not just from Josh's legendary left hook.
No.
It's funny is
it's because he talks so fast. The friction was just.
It's a common thing. People, you talk so fast, you gotta slow down. I'm like, maybe when I'm 60, I'm turning 50 next month, so maybe that's the time when you start slowing down when you're 50. But we got a lot of books to make, so can't slow down.
Right? I mean, it's their fault if they can't match your enthusiasm. Ooh. Oh my God, it's out again. Okay,
I feel responsible somehow.
No,
it's happened like 3 times before you got here.
They're on hotel Wi-Fi in Florida, so this has been a consistent thing. Like we just have to remember what they said when they go away, and then they pick right up when they get back.
Are we blaming hotel Wi-Fi or Florida?
Oh
yes.
There we go.
Hotel
hotel. So basically, the reason we're in a hotel is because I live in Utah, so I keep flying over here to the East Coast to do Joe Fest and stuff like that, and we go up there together. And then we've the first volume as well as this one, we try to finish them together because we are a team, and it's a little bit of a process when you're 3 time zones away or 2 time zones away and a couple thousand miles trying to make it. So it just turns out to be easier to get the last 10% of the book done in together. So that's basically where we're at. So volume 2 is pretty much done. It's a lot of editing. Like we're just a few pages here and there that we got to figure out, and that's it. Whereas for volume 1, when we started this in 2020, Roger, like you said earlier, came to me with the idea, and we're like, well, let's do a Kickstarter because that's what everybody does, right? And we had no idea if anybody was interested in a book about comics. And of course,
you know what?
The state of Florida is not interested in the comics.
We've handled worse. Ain't that right?
Well, now that you're here, we can just go back to the
echo. Hey,
Rob has already called for echo effects. So
now batting. These guys again.
I'm the one using the mouse now, Mr. One-Eyed Pirate over here.
And notice it's not happening any less.
Take it all away from Roger. Take it all away.
So basically, like I was just saying, so for volume 1, we had no idea if our concept of a book was what people wanted in the Joe community as well as just comic fans in general. A book about all the covers. That's basically a guidebook to collect all the covers. So that's what we put out there, and the community supported us for the volume 1, and then they doubled up on volume 2. So thank you, everybody.
Yep.
Yeah, I got to say that that's really what I'm looking forward to most in volume 2. I collected the book through most of the Devils Do Run, but I'm sure there are covers that I have just never seen before.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's some very obscure ones.
Yeah, because I didn't worry about variant covers and stuff. It was enough at that point just to have the $3 to plunk down for the one book, let alone worry about 4 or 5 copies of it. So yeah, I'm most enthused to see all the artwork that I've missed out on for all these years.
Absolutely, yeah. And then when we get to IDW, they doubled down with $1 more per price for cover price and 3 times more cover.
Right. They were really testing us.
Yeah.
Just because it's a day that ends in Y, they put out a variant cover.
Right.
Yeah.
Again, gentlemen, make sure you take a couple of months off and make sure Roger gets away from his 4th and 5th relapse.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
They're going to need that just to handle the different IDW continuities.
Yes.
Well, speaking of that, this is the first podcast we can announce that, assuming Roger's health is good, we both will be at Assembly Required at the beginning of November. If not, I will definitely be there. And we will be doing the Kickstarter for Volume 3, which is IDW 155.5 to number 300. So you guys get the exclusive scoop on that one. We're officially going to do that. And of course, it's very quick from this one, but we should have Volume 2 in hand. If not, it'll be on a boat on the way here. Again, we don't control global shipping, so we don't. So we're hoping for Assembly Required, which is November 4th and 5th, that we would have Volume 2 in hand, and we'll have Kickstarter for Volume 3 because we want to catch all the issue 300, nostalgia that will be happening in December with the end of the run with 300. So we're making books about that and stuff like that. So that's why we're gonna have a Kickstarter so quickly again for the next volume. And so I live in Moab, and I'm a Uber Lyft driver, and my car broke in February, and it took about 2 weeks to get fixed. So in that 2 weeks, I basically built all the pages for 155.5 to 250. So that's 100 issues. I didn't have anything else to do because when you can't drive.
You got to have a car to drive.
That's right.
And you got to have Wi-Fi to stay connected. But Matt Rubin says that's a fast turnaround for a Kickstarter. Yes, it is. After Action Report Volume 1, they got that to us in really just a couple of months after the Kickstarter was done. So not strange. They've got most of the work done. It's just a matter of getting it off to the printer and getting it done. Welcome back, guys.
Yes.
You guys have you've got a pattern to this now.
Yes.
Because we've got both. You've got, the dead screen is still there too. So that's a neat trick.
Yeah, we're not on the screen for our end. So
Roger and Josh, and then Roger and Josh in a black hole.
Yes.
If we manage to clone them somehow because of this,
We would definitely more books. Can you hear it?
Yeah, can you imagine how fast Volume 3 will be ready with 4 of them working on it?
Wow, yeah. It's a whole Thomas Riker situation.
Yeah, a Marshall Ventures situation. I mean, come on.
Now they've both got goatees, so would the negative ones be?
Oh yeah,
Clean shaven, probably.
Yeah, right?
The evil ones are all clean.
Yeah.
Right, you'd think.
They're wearing sleeveless tunics
And
carrying
driving
daggers.
driving Goliath, no doubt.
By the way, it's just in the pit somewhere near Moab. Well, it might be. They could be interfering with our signal. Who knows?
Yeah.
Nothing stops a signal, Mal. Just saying.
Okay.
Hey, it's
There we go.
Woohoo! We're
All right.
back again.
Oh, it's good times. It's just
the internet is an amazing thing, but when it doesn't work very well, it really sucks.
Hey, a couple episodes ago, we got stuck with echo effects that we couldn't fix.
Yeah.
And so we just we made lemonade out of that one. We just had the folks in the live chat read off what they wanted to hear Mark and Rob say with echo. So there was a lot of Darth Vader recitation, but hey, made for decent program once.
Once.
I don't think we get away with that one twice.
No.
But it made for a good show once.
Yeah.
But
So, have we covered all the story? I don't know exactly.
I think so. I think for the most part.
See, Mike, you offended him.
Apparently.
Yep.
Man.
All right. Well, since we're in rain delay, let's go to F Troop.
Right?
There you go.
The rebound is fast, though.
Yeah.
Well, it's
I
just a
think
couple of clicks to get back, but
All right.
Mhm.
All right. But so yes, gentlemen. There was a comment about how fast the turnaround is from the end of the Kickstarter to the books being in hand, and I remarked that yes, Volume 1 was similarly quick like that.
it
And
wasn't super quick, but this will be a lot quicker. So
oh wow, that was because I would have said that was pretty quick. So I'm impressed that you're figuring out.
Maybe compared to other people, but yeah, but
Right.
it was like 8 months, I think.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, so basically, like I said, for the first one, we didn't know if anybody wanted it, so we hadn't really made the book.
Yeah.
We'd made promo stuff and things like that. And then we had to deal with global shipping and printing problems, and we learned a big lesson regarding interviews, which are still a little bit difficult. When you interview somebody and then you have
Interviews can be difficult.
I've heard that. I'm not going to suggest this while they're on air, but if I was one of those two guys, I would switch seats the next time before I came back, just to see if anybody noticed.
Well,
Before you came on, we were laughing about that.
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah, it's Mark, you're late to the party. Did you
Yeah.
have any specific questions that maybe we did not get to?
Yeah. I have a good one. Why won't my microphone work? That one plagued me for about 20 minutes, but
no time for that now, Mark.
and
yeah, I think it's a bit of a softball, but was there anything that surprised you when you were doing your research here for Volume 2? Something that you thought you
answer
knew that you had wrong,
can
or
you hear us?
something that you never knew?
Yes, we can hear you guys.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can hear it.
So you can hear us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mark's
We're not
talking
on
to
the
you.
screen.
Yeah. All right. So
Newsstand.
you want to answer that
Yeah.
question?
For Devil's Due, it was newsstand editions because we knew they existed, but they were so hard to find because by the early 2000s, newsstand was almost non-existent. It was about
5 or 6
5 to 10% probably.
individually numbered copies.
There were only 5 left.
5, and Tim Roberts was getting one of each. That fast. From the Long's Drugs in Bend, Oregon.
okay. We're
Wandering
back.
the streets of Bend.
So, anyways, by the early 2000s, there was only 5.
5 to 10% of the market was newsstand because it was a dying market. So they were out there, but there weren't many. And Devil's Due and Image really was doing most of it, but because they were publishing for Devil's Due, and they were kind of still dabbling in newsstand. So even Devil's Due doesn't know how many newsstand editions are out there, and we couldn't really track down that information, and we were just getting it in piecemeal, just what we were finding, which was, it's very hard to find something that's 5% of the market. And luckily, we were able to connect with another collector that had most, if not all of them. And he was able to send us the scans for all of the ones he had ever found. And it was a pretty logical couple of blocks of information, of issue runs. So we're fairly confident we have most of them.
Cover Commander 788 says, I've got a brilliant idea for a live show that's all about the technical issues that come up during the live show. And I say, get your own performance art.
Right?
You just had a live stream and you could have done it right then, but no.
At least I got most of the thought out before we cut out that.
Right, yeah, you're good there.
So yeah, the newsstand is by far the most unique aspect of the Devil's Due stuff. That even for us as hardcore completist collectors is like, way up here in terms of like what do you find? You have to look at the UPC code because that's what is the only difference. There's no actual cover difference. Like with the Marvel newsstand direct market, there's other differences. But with the Devil's Due one, it's literally just the UPC number.
Yep.
But it is a different. There is a difference.
Where were we on the timeline when you say that dwindled down to 0?
What do you mean?
Like where month and year wise, like late 2006, early 2000.
Oh, when they no longer publish.
Yeah, when did that just stop?
Overall, it's roughly around 2010 for the whole market.
Okay.
For Devil's Due, it was the last ones they published that we know of were Sigma 6. And that was long after they published everything else. I think because Sigma 6 was more of a kids market, I think they were experimenting to see if they could get it into more kid hands. But that seems to be the end of it. So,
And instead,
I know from.
I was saying, instead, Justin Bell bought them all. So
Yes.
no kids
Speaking of him, he's actually doing an introduction for our book with an article called "The Rise of the Forum" that kind of basically just we're all in the same generation of fans who in 2001 came back
And left.
I know, just speaking from personal experience from working at the bookstore, when the comics started disappearing was probably about like maybe 6 years ago, because we were still getting like DCs and Archies and stuff like that in there. But Barnes & Noble stopped carrying them for their magazine racks because they got sick of dealing with Diamond.
yeah.
So I
Barnes
mean, I
&
know
Noble
a lot of newsstands just went, "We're not dealing with you. You stink." So
Yeah.
So Racktime Rob, you're the comic guy.
Mhm.
You're on the panel. What's the hard hitting question that you've got for Roger and Josh in the 5 seconds left before they blink out again?
Yes.
it might have been already answered. I was flipping through Volume 1, Mike's copy of Volume 1, which I don't have, but
What do you mean Mike's copy, Rob?
well, I've taken care of that because I pledged it to get 1 and 2 on this latest Kickstarter.
Excellent.
So.
Thank you.
But I was flipping through and was reading this up on the story about the second printings of issue 21 and how it was never really 100% sure that there had been ever a second printing of issue 21.
Honestly, we're still not 100% sure, but that is our best guess at based on the information.
Yeah.
And Roger has seen one in person.
Yeah.
So
Are there any? I mean, were there any of the aside from the newsstand copies, which is a bit of a surprise? Yeah, it was coming out of Image.
Point.
So, Mark, how you feeling?
You know what? Anytime I start to talk, it disappears. It fades out, right? So I don't want to come up with any good material. Maybe I'll just stick to my old bad material.
Well, it's never hurt you before.
Right? It never stopped me before. Hang on here. Let me.
Here we go.
All right, gentlemen.
so
Aside from the newsstand copies, were there any like other surprises that you might have in this book?
Well, yeah. Convention exclusives, packing books from toys that you wouldn't expect, like the Meet the Troops book from the card game. Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of sources for books during that time that people don't really think about. So
It really was the age of the pack-in comic. But
That's it. I'm taking over.
Well, if I remember correctly, like
Share
the
my
intro,
screen. It'll make everybody feel better.
yeah, wasn't the intro to that Devil's Due series a?
Happy July 4th, everyone.
George Washington giving the stunner to Cornwallis.
I love the beer can floating. Oh.
Are we back, Al?
Yep.
okay.
For the moment, yes, we got you loud and clear.
I know.
Okay.
So that actually brings us back to the campaign itself. At $35 is the lowest pledge you can make and still get a book. That's what we got there. $35 gets you volume 2. A $50 pledge will get you a double signed edition of volume 2. That is a copy of the book signed by both of the devilishly handsome gentlemen you see.
Yes, you don't have to choose. You can get both. Yes.
It's Mad Ruben says that's a cutter, not a stunner. Diamond Dallas Page himself says that's a stunner, not a cutter.
Oh, look, Elizabeth caught on tape. Run, Biz. If you land on your butt, that's a stunner.
Right.
Just saying.
That's the stunner versus cutter discussion that we can have on Friday night. We'll save wrestling discussion for Cobra Convergence 6.
There you go.
So one other aspect of Volume 2 is where it's the Devil's Due era, 2001 to 2008, and then we've added the Plus More. So Plus More is actually all of the fun publishing books. So that's the Collectors Club that started in 2008 with G.I. Joe and Verse Cobra, and which is the convention cover or convention program, and then retail. And then we also did all of the Collectors Club magazines because we realized that's not done anywhere else, even on Yojo or anything like that. Nobody's really done that. So that was a very unique thing that will be in the book too. And again, it's not from 2008. It actually ends in 2017 with their last convention. But we put those all in there too. So that's, a good, 30, 40 pages. And again, because it's a comic book check guide, you can collect them all. And they're actually probably becoming harder and harder to find, I would think.
They are. Yeah.
So that pretty much covers the whole book. We have Dreamwave in there. We also have the Hasbro figure packs, the 2 and 3 figure packs. James Cavanaugh has gladly loaned us or given us the photos of his toys to put in there, so we didn't have to take them.
Yep.
But we had the comic scans.
But if you want to go a different direction with your $50 pledge, you can get a copy of Volume 2 and a Kickstarter exclusive ash can. So what's in the ash can that's so neat, guys?
Yeah, honestly, we did it as a promo to begin with for the first one, and people just gravitated towards it. So we did a similar thing. It's basically just a quick little preview of what's going to be in the books, and you're already getting them in hand, so it's not like you're really getting anything new. But it's just laid out as an ash can. It was. If you don't know what an ash can is, it was a promotional. Well, it wasn't even really a promotional thing, but like back in the 30s and 40s, they'd need the copyright to get. If they were publishing Superman, they'd need to prove they were publishing Superman. So they'd take another comic book, put a new cover on, or just print a few pages and then put Superman on the cover, or take it to the copyright office, get the copyright, and as they walked out the door, they'd throw it in the ash can they were done with it. That's all they needed. So they're very collectible within the comic world, and we made one for the original book as a promotional item and ended up at
nothing. So anyways, if you're watching us at home, watching us on Facebook, go ahead, leave us some kind of reaction. Give us a thumbs up, give us a heart, give us a little huggy guy. We love little huggy guy. Little huggy guy helps complete the connection necessary for Roger's Ethernet to work.
Right.
If you're watching us on Facebook, by all means, give us a thumbs up despite the tight show. Subscribe to the channel. Tonight's show. We'll give those a chance to get their connection set. In the meantime, here's a word from our sponsors at Kokomo Toys.
We buy, sell, and trade vintage and modern toys. G.I. Joe, Star Wars, Transformers, Marvel, DC, and more. Located in beautiful downtown Kokomo, Indiana, we are open every Wednesday through Saturday from 12 to 5. It's a theme park of nostalgia. Join the thousands of people who have traveled from all over the Midwest for over a decade to buy and sell with us. Get your geek on.
Okay. And they're back.
Hey, good timing.
Are you sure we're back?
I think so.
You're back for now.
Yeah. Anyway, as I was saying about ash cans. People really liked it, and people that weren't at Joe Fest the first time around, emailed us and said, "Hey, how can I get the ash can?" And so we made it a stretch goal for the first time around, and this time we did it just as an add-on pledge. That way, you don't have to worry about whether or not we met our stretch goals or not. But we're doing 2 of them, and technically.
All right. And I'm not on the screen, so I'm going to guess that they just bailed out on that one.
Man.
Okay. So anyways,
There we are. Okay.
That,
we'll move on from the ash can because that apparently is a cursed subject.
It is.
There's 2 of them.
Yeah.
Joe Fest 1 and Kickstarter exclusive.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
We'll get there. We'll get
Good
there.
enough.
For a $60 pledge, if you want to buddy up with somebody, you can get 2 copies of After Action Report Volume 2 at a discounted price. That saves you $5 on the cover price, and it means that both books will ship at the same time, which means that you're paying half of shipping. So that's a plus if you need more than 1 copy.
We did that stretch goal for the collectors because they need 1 near mint and then they need 1 they can mark up.
Right. $65 will get you the book and 2 ash cans, which is the Kickstarter 4-pager and the Joe Fest ash can.
Yes.
And then finally, $70 or more get you the combo pack. That's Volume 1 and Volume 2. This is what we've been plugging to the kids at home.
Yes, that's a good one. Yeah.
It's actually been very popular. It's the
Yeah, looking at things, 65 backers out of your 250 or so. So that's a pretty healthy percentage.
Yeah.
That's a lot of new business. And then finally, we got at $100 or more, the combo pack. You get both volumes and both ash cans. So we'll get them back in here along with the black hole.
Along with the clone screen.
Yeah, maybe that'll help.
Phantom
It's
Zone.
actually been very popular to get Volume 1 and Volume 2. We had nearly as many pledges for that as we've had just for Volume 2, which means that everybody liked what we did, likes our concept. So
yeah,
thank you guys. Thank you all backers. Appreciate it.
Yeah, really, you guys did a fantastic job on the first one. It's a wealth of information. So I can only imagine that Volume 2 will be more of the same.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But about how many hours of research would you estimate went into this thing?
100,000 million? No.
40 years?
Yep, 40 years.
40
exactly.
years?
11 billion.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely 40 years, but
Yeah,
But-
I'd say that's accurate because really it is a lifetime of knowledge. It's not just looking it up on the internet,
yeah.
There's a
That was
familiar
the thing.
subject matter that I'm sure told you where to look to.
Yeah. And that was the thing with, Roger and I have known each other for 20 years. We were doing some of the Yo-Jo stuff really early on in the early 2000s and, been friends and traded stuff and traded comics and, talk a lot of international comics. That's really truly the passion of us, which are actually going to be Volumes 4 and Volumes 5 will be those. That's a whole nother animal of books, but that's really where it kind of comes from. I mean, getting in 1982 and never stopped collecting except for when I wanted to go to college and have some girls around me. And then, I realized in 2001 when Josh Blaylock brought it back, I'm like, comics are a little funner.
The women have all left. Anyway. Dun, 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 dun. All right. So we'll let the black hole continue to suck them up there.
I've heard the rarest cover. And we'll wait.
What's
Is
the next question?
Super Biz cover. and also the Spider Derek cover.
Oh.
So
What was the question?
We're just letting Mark show off his custom photos.
yeah. And my yellow belt Photoshop skills.
Right. He's got material on standby.
Mhm.
You expect that the guy who used to be the head of the brand at Hasbro, he's the straight laced one. No, he's an endless fountain of dad jokes.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Speaking of which, what years were you the honcho at the time?
Oh, I was 14 to 17.
14 to 17. Okay,
Yeah,
so
so it was
So that's all IDW stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, and that was
So
the end.
you think for volume 3 you have an interview contribution that you could make to our
Hey,
book?
I'm always happy to help. I got to oversee most of the comic. Got first pass at the comics as they came through, except for Larry's book. And they said Larry's good, and I'm like, really? I edit with a very soft touch. And they're like, no, yeah, Larry's good. I'm like, okay, cool, no problem.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have let Stalker be from Brooklyn, but that was the only one. That was the only one I fully remember catching.
They were they were so offended that it cut their Wi-Fi.
Yep.
I can see how that.
Well, no interview for you,
right? I guess I'm out. I'm out.
I figure with the abrupt your departure there that Mark is out for volume 3.
Yeah, well, they probably figured out that I was on it when Citizen started, so I'm disqualified, I guess.
Yeah, I don't believe you have I didn't believe you had staffing approval.
So volume 3 is literally just 155 to 300, and then maybe we'll throw in some other things there, but that's pretty much already about 80 pages done of volume 3, and that's just 155 and a half to 250 is about 80 pages. So we figure, they're going to do 300 covers for issue 300. That's like 6 pages in the book. So, but yeah, we definitely will see, we have to see how for Devil's Due, it became interesting because we could put a lot more interviews in because we didn't actually have as many covers as Marvel or IDW. So we haven't quite figured out for volume 3 how many interviews we can do.
So gents, we're coming around towards the hour mark. You said you had a pretty long list of shout outs.
Yeah.
I'm gonna grab it.
He's got an actual list.
Yep.
Is this like written on an old timey scroll with little roller thing?
Cool.
So, two stone tablets. There were 3, but one of them fell.
So first off is Hawk Sanders with Rising Sun Publishing. They're actually publishing our book, and he's done a lot of it. He had a table at Joe Fest. He has Action Force series, Cobra the Enemy series, and they do their own publishing. He's also been helping out with the Blood for the Baron books that have been Kickstarted recently. So that's Rising Sun Publishing.
Hawk Sanders is one of the truly wonderful people in this hobby.
Yep.
Yes. And he's been extremely helpful, and he stepped up for volume 1 to help, and he's like, hey, I want to do it, and now he's a big partner, and he's going to do all our books. So if you guys are looking to do a book, go find Rising Sun Publishing because he's very G.I. Joe friendly.
Yes, he is.
You want to do James?
Yeah, James. He's helped us from the beginning.
James Kavanaugh.
Oh yeah.
Noted author James Kavanaugh.
Exactly. Everybody knows noted author James Kavanaugh. But yeah, he's always been big on input for us and helping us get started in the first place. And he's provided all the action figure images that we're using for the comic packs in this volume.
And sign up for the G.I. Joe fan club.
Yes.
He's running that. It's a really cool idea.
Yes.
He's got some good stuff.
And I wrote an article for that too.
So then the next one, we cannot care enough about this guy is Carson Matatis with 3D Joes and his Operation Recall that and just the amazing amount of fan enthusiasm that he brought to the community for us. He helped us out a lot at the beginning with like, hey, do this, do that, do this. And we've been doing this and that. And I think that's why we're successful.
Yeah. Jason from the Order of Battle podcast. We met him right at the beginning of Joe Fest in 2020. And he liked the idea and just jumped on the concept of interviewing us for it, which we hadn't put any thought.
Yep.
He's thanking us right now.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. It's
That's how
probably
that normally works.
It's probably our connection. He started talking about a different show. It kicked him right out.
There he goes.
Exactly. But anyway,
big metal boot just drop kicked him right out.
Yeah. Anyway, Jason just jumped on board with interviewing us, which was something we hadn't even considered, and that helped us tremendously with Volume 1 and got us connected with other podcasts.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. And then, of course, we have to always thank the guy who declassified and Phil Donnelly. He's been helping us out a lot. Like, we have questions, and we often run into this problem where Roger and I tend to have very much the same knowledge, which kind of is all the knowledge. We don't know everything. So then we'll ask like Phil or a couple other people around the community, Tim Finn, too. And they're always kind of like, well, we don't really know. And then we ask other people and they're like, well, we would ask you. And so then we are like, oh no, how do we solve this?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of questions out there that just don't really have answers.
Yeah, exactly.
So the declassified guys have been helping us out a lot with that.
Absolutely.
You want to do David?
Yeah. David T. Allen, forgive me. Super Dave, as he likes to be known. He's started not quite a podcast, not quite a YouTube channel. It's just like videos on Facebook, but he gets the message out there. And
that's an ironic place for a signal drop.
He should go by David. He should go by David TA, don't you think?
That would be pretty awesome. He would have a serious mustache.
You'd be tired of Nikita sickling him from around corners, though. Oh, wait, Friday. Sorry.
We're on a yo-yo. On, off, yo-yo, on. So assembly required. Brian Sauer, he's going to start helping us out with design stuff. He's a big, huge Joe fan. Of course, assembly required is in November, 4th and 5th. Yeah. And then Justin Bell, we talked about him a little earlier, General Joe's. He's coming back into the community, so let's get him back in because we need him. Yeah, he's cool. I know he's been out writing books and stuff like that. So, and then Ted Jacobson, he's known as Skinny Joe. He's been helping us out a lot with things. And finally, Mike, you were the number 250th backer of ours, and you too, Rob. Thank you guys for supporting us both for Volume 1 and for Volume 2.
Absolutely.
There's our shout outs.
Yeah. We, for the record, we would have had you guys on a lot sooner too, but then Roger almost died. So
yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
that really did put a crimp in things.
And we would
to go, Roger.
Have had a better connection.
But we're sequestered in a hotel room, working together, getting the Volume 2 pretty much done, and then we will take a break and we'll start up on Volume 3 at some point, September maybe.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So for everybody at home and watching this, hopefully sometime tonight or early tomorrow morning before this thing ends, and it ends at, let me run over real quick. I'll give everybody the exact time. It is good until 1:49 Eastern time this morning. So Wednesday, 1:49 a.m. So you basically have the rest of the night tonight until you go to bed.
Exactly.
Head over to Kickstarter. Just search After Action Report. It'll pull up Volume 2. It is sitting at 250 backers, $20,578. This is gonna it's be ready to pay it right away because it's gonna end very soon.
Happening.
It's gonna happen. Whatever money you put into this, you're in for. We got 3 hours left to go. Get on here. It's a great resource. It's a great guide. It's a great book by two guys who really love comic books and especially G.I. Joe comic books. Guys, I would normally we'd spend a little bit more time doing crowd questions, but I don't think that the connection is good enough to do that. See, I've been talking about it, and they're not even here anymore. But anyway, we would be doing more with crowd questions. I apologize. I don't think that's probably going to work out considering the circumstances.
Yeah.
So we'll leave it with please head on over, go to Kickstarter, back After Action Report Volume 2. Do it tonight because you don't have any other choice. You have to do it tonight or you're not going to do it.
Yeah. There is no tomorrow.
Right. You can buy Volume 1 on our website, which is afteractionreport.net, but not Volume 2. Only Volume 1. There's nothing. We sell one item on our website.
There you go. Keeps it simple.
For now.
And if Roger's got any eye drops left over, maybe you'll sell those too. But
yes,
Interstate Law is a little funny about that.
You know,
black market eye drop situation there.
Collectors love things from the authors.
Yeah.
Look, if there's one state that's going to allow black market eye drops, I think it's Florida.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you're on there.
Probably so. So that's all we got for tonight.
Yes.
Sorry, guys, for the connection problems.
No worries.
That's all right.
Believe me, there's worse things that can happen than that. You could be
Yes.
stuck with echo effects for
Look
2
at
hours.
his head.
Right? Look at Roger's head, and oh, that was a reference to his being sick. Oh wait, my bad. Anyways, but there they go.
Have they climbed to the top of the leaderboard for most appearances on What's on Joe Mind?
I think with their 61 appearances tonight, I think so.
They're number one with a bullet, baby. That's marketing.
Their 61
Okay,
appearances
so
are the most
the best way
What's on Joe Mind.
the best way to end this is with Roger's joke.
Well, now that I've been blind in one eye for the last month or so, I can't navigate a grocery store. So how Major Blood navigates a battlefield without getting shot is beyond me. He should not be alive.
Well, now that they've made it official, he's got the robot arm.
Yeah.
We know not so well.
Yeah, at some point, he had
That's where
back.
they put maybe that's where they put the second eye.
Yes.
Anyways, for my co-hosts Racktime Rob and the honcho Mark Weber, for my guests Roger Eggerbean and Roger Taft, thank you so much, gentlemen. We really appreciate you coming out and spending the time with us this evening.
Thank you, guys. Sorry for the connections.
Again, no biggie at all. I'm Mike Irizarry. Thanks so much for joining us here on this What's on Joe Mind special edition. Have a great rest of the week. We might be back again before Friday, but have a good rest of the week anyway.
Yo.